In this video, you will learn how to identify and select the proper tools, correctly measure the glass, prepare the glass for installation of film, clean the glass, and apply film to the glass using various automotive window film installation techniques. The Olfa Silver is a specialty knife used for film cutting and trimming. Only stainless steel blades should be used as they last longer and reduce the likelihood of glass scratching. A sharp edge on the Olfa knife is critical to success in auto window film installation. This Olfa disposable case is the ideal tool for making it quick, easy, and safe to obtain a fresh, sharp edge from your knife blade. The sliding hatch keeps used blades safely locked inside and out of the way. A razor blade scraper is a great tool for removing glass contaminants, old film, or stickers from auto windows. This tool should not be used around rear window defroster and antenna elements. The Younger Pro is the most popular handle in the market and can be used to hold a wide variety of squeegees for installation or cleaning. Channel squeegees and other replacement blades can be easily swapped using the Younger Pro by utilizing the quick release on the underside of the handle. Using a flathead screwdriver, you can adjust the width of the jaws to hold heavier blades, such as when changing to the Blue Max blade, as shown here. A light-duty scrub pad is very useful in auto windows that may be susceptible to damage from a metal scraper blade, such as the rear window defroster or radio antenna elements, as well as to break down oil-based contaminants that a blade can't remove. This spray bottle is perfect for installations requiring control that only a manual sprayer can provide. Normally, a 32-ounce size is used. For larger areas, a pressure sprayer provides a constant flow of solution and saves refill time. They can range from 2 pints to 5 gallons in size. The white 4-inch hard card is a very versatile tool that may be used to lock down film to glass, or when wrapped in a lint-free paper towel or cotton cloth to bump off excess moisture at the window frame. The white 4-inch hard card can be modified for a variety of uses. Note that the installer has customized this hard card by cutting it on the diagonal. Later in this video, you will see how this modification is used to the installer's advantage. As you can see, there is a wide variety of hard cards available to aid in the installation of automotive window film. Each one is slightly different in hardness and shape. It would be a good idea to have several different cards on hand, and through experimentation and experience, find the ones that work best for you. The 5-inch diamond tip hard card squeegee is an essential tool to be used when cleaning into the corners of a window frame, assisting in tacking down film, or for squeegeeing film along edges of a window. A card sharpener adds a perfect edge to your card squeegee and 5-way tool capabilities. The Lil Chiseler is a hard plastic tool that is best used to hide creases and contamination on window film. If used incorrectly, it is capable of scratching the hard coat on film. Using 400 to 600 grit sandpaper can help maintain a nick-free edge. Also helpful is to keep the tool wrapped in a lint-free towel during its use. Bone sticks can be used to provide extra clearance between side window glass and window gaskets, and can be used when positioning film along the bottom edge of the glass. It can also be used as an extended reach Lil Chiseler. The side swiper is best used to remove excess water on difficult to reach areas of the rear windows. The Red Devil is used to increase the gap between the glass and the window gasket and will make film installation easier on the side windows. The Easy Reach is an excellent tool for those hard to reach places, tacking down film or sealing film to the edges of the rear window or side window. The Contour is similar to the Easy Reach in that it will help the installer get into tight corners and is an excellent choice for sealing the film to the glass. The Conqueror, similar to the side swiper, is a multi-purpose tool that can be used to squeegee film or seal the edges in hard-to-reach areas. The marking pencil can be used to circle contaminants before pulling back the film to remove them. It can also be used to outline film prior to cutting the film with an unusual or irregular dimensions. A heat gun is an invaluable tool and a must-have in any automotive window film installation shop to form film. There are a variety of heat guns available. Some have digital readouts or variable heat settings. Always use a heat gun that is well constructed, as it needs to be able to sustain heavy use. A glove, such as the one shown here, will keep your hand protected as the film is being formed to the window. The computer cut system has revolutionized the window film market by making installations faster, more accurate, and more efficient. With the click of a button, the computer cut system will cut a complete set of automotive patterns in seconds, making your job more profitable. The film handler is a vital tool used to minimize waste, improve efficiency, and increase profits. It can be used with film widths up to 72 inches. When mixing mounting solution, use approximately 2 grams of shampoo, about 3 to 4 drops, per quart of water. If the weather is colder, you may use a bit less shampoo and a bit more in hot weather. How hard the water is in your area will also affect how much shampoo is used. Less shampoo for soft water, more for hard water. Thoroughly spray the glass with cleaning solution, and using a stainless steel 1-inch scraper, begin to scrape the glass from the outer edges inward, including the top edge. Some cars will require the window to be slightly rolled down for this. Scrubbing the window with a scrubby will further clean off any residue that scraping could not remove. Using a lint-free towel, wipe the window edges. You can wrap a hard card and push into the edge to remove contamination from the frames and gaskets. Using a squeegee of your choice, squeegee all the water to the bottom of the window, assuring you don't leave any streaks behind. You may need to repeat this step, ensuring the glass is completely clean. You can dig a little further with your Olfa knife extended than you can with a 1-inch blade. With wet glass, carefully extend the blade about 1.5 inches, press slightly against the glass along the entire edge. Before cutting away any window pattern, it is imperative to start by cleaning the glass. Spray the window and squeegee away the solution before applying film to the glass. Position the film so that all the edges overlap. Overlap the bottom edge approximately 1/2 inch. Tack the center area of the glass to prevent any movement. Using a marking pencil, mark a 1/8 inch overlap on each side of the film along the frame. Roll the window down just enough to expose the top edge of the glass. Beginning from one side, insert the blade through the film so that it rests on the top edge of the glass. Carefully guide the blade along the top edge to the other side. Excess film will rip easily away from the glass. Holding the film down with one finger, pull the excess film directly away from the pattern. Remove film from the glass and place on a transfer board. Complete cutting the pattern on a transfer board using a straight edge and your Olfa knife. Be sure to snap off a sharp edge on your Olfa knife before starting the cuts. Properly clean the exterior window surface and spray the window to help position the film. Unroll the film onto the window with approximately 1 inch overlap on each side, always with the liner facing you. Position the film so that the bottom is even with the gasket. Carefully place your blade so that the knife is against the frame and the blade itself is exposed just enough to cut the film only. Once cut, slightly pull the cut area so that it is now overlapping between 1/8 inch and 1/4 inch. Tack the center of the film with a hard card to prevent any movement. Using the same motion as before, cut the opposite side of the film along the frame. Roll down the window just enough to expose the top edge of the glass. Beginning from one side, insert your blade through the film so that it rests on the top edge of the glass. Carefully guide the blade along the top edge to the other side. After rounding off the corners, this piece of film is now ready for installation. Another method for cutting side window film is to use your knife to cut markers as guides. Once the film is in position, poke the film with your knife just outside the window frame. Tear away the excess film. Lower the window to cut the top edge of the glass. To cut the top edge, expose about 1 inch of your blade. Cut through the film, resting your knife on the edge of the glass. Maintain a consistent angle by keeping your knuckles close to the glass. The angle should be approximately 30 degrees throughout the cut. Follow the entire edge of the glass, stopping just short of the edge. This area will be cut on the transfer board. Begin by cleaning the transfer glass. Spray the glass and squeegee away excess moisture. Lay the film onto the glass. Be sure to snap off a sharp edge on your Olfa knife before starting the cuts. Using a straight edge, align the corners. Cut along the knife marks at the top, and then the bottom areas of the film. Round off all corners before installing the film on the window. Clean the exterior of the glass. Spray the glass and position your first layer of film with the liner facing you. Spray the liner side of the first film and position the second layer with the liner away from you. You do this by turning the roll over to face the opposite direction. This way, you will also cut the film for the opposite side of the car, making much more efficient use of your time. Align the bottom edge of both films so that they match and are in position. Tack the center of the film. Make sure to use either a squeegee or a hard card with a clean edge to reduce the risk of scratching the film. From this point, you can use any of the previous cutting methods to complete your window cutting. Once the film has been cut on the transfer board, return the film to the door window and position the film for transfer. Separate the two layers. Roll the opposite layer and place it in the car to retrieve on the other side. The use of a transfer glass helps to clean up all your corners on pre-cut film. Always make sure you have a clean surface to lay the film. Spray the glass to assist in holding the film in place. Using a straight edge ruler, line up your pre-marked points. Hold the ruler firmly and cut. Repeat this process for all sides, followed by rounding of the corners, which can be done freehand. Rounding the corners prevents the film from lifting over the long term. Some side windows are curved and may require the use of a heat gun to form the film to the glass. Leaving a 1 inch space from the bottom gasket, force the fingers along the bottom by squeegeeing the film to the glass, closing the right and left side of the glass. This will force the fingers to be along the bottom of the glass only. This will make it easier to shrink. Remember, the film only shrinks from top to bottom, not side to side. Using a hard card of your choice, begin to heat the fingers from top down. As the finger begins to shrink, press the film to the glass with a hard card, applying pressure. In some instances, a finger will separate and become more than one, usually with large fingers. You can separate the larger fingers from the start to prevent the possibility of creasing the film. The liner can be removed in several ways. One method is to simply pick at the edge till the liner peels. You can then remove the liner to the desired point and spray the film thoroughly. It is important to move quickly as your film is exposed to contamination until it's on the glass. Make sure to spray the interior surface of glass with mounting solution. Carefully hold the film along the edges without applying too much pressure. Too much pressure may leave fingerprints on adhesive. Lift it above the door to the inside of the glass. Carefully hold the film on the very edges and apply the film one edge at a time. Pay close attention to the top edge alignment. Position the top edge with a 1/16 to 1/8 inch gap to the edge of the glass. Once aligned, use an Unger handle with a Blue Max to squeegee an area along the top edge of the glass. Always check your top edge alignment and continue to squeegee the window to the side. Use a squeegee wrapped in a lint-free towel to absorb any excess water along the edge. Make sure you have not overlapped the top edge. Using a heat gun, heat the outside of the glass to warm. Do not overheat. Using a hard card of your choice, press the film side against the glass to accelerate the tack, keeping a distance of 2 to 5 inches from the glass. Touching the film often will allow the installer to feel if the film is getting too warm. Excessive heat can damage the film. The installer is pressing lightly against the inside of the window as it's being rolled up to keep the top edge of the film from coming into contact with the window gasket. This will avoid separating the film from the glass before the adhesive has completely set. Raise the film and spray in a downward motion, flushing any contamination downward. Hold the film in place while carefully removing the liner. Always pull down to prevent any creases. Once removed, lift the film and insert it behind the gasket, starting from the corners and moving inward. If the film does not slide behind the gasket easily, you will need to use a hard card or bone stick to create some separation from the glass. Carefully lower the film behind it as you move along the bottom edge. To slide film behind the gasket, a red devil can be used to create a space between the gasket and the glass. Once you have a space, gently slide the film behind the gasket. When the film is flat against the glass, squeegee the remaining water behind the film downward. Squeegee the film with pressure, forcing all the excess water down. Start with the center and work your way to each corner. Stop just short of the bottom edge. Squeegee the bottom from one side to the other, keeping the corner of the squeegee tight against the gasket. Again, use a hard card with a towel to soak up any excess water from the bottom edge. It may be necessary to insert a hard card to allow enough separation to insert the towel. Additional passes with a squeegee may be necessary to remove any leftover mounting solution. Additional pressure with the squeegee may be applied if needed. Once complete, wipe away any excess water from the door panels and frames. With the door liner completely removed, place your hands behind the film and carefully lay it up against the glass. Insert the smaller end first, beginning at the bottom edge of the film. As you insert the film, push below the window gasket and forward as you bring your other hand forward towards the glass. Continue to push the film under the door gasket. The top of the film should be below the top edge. Once the film is aligned completely on the glass, position the top edge with a 1/16 to 1/8 inch gap to the edge of the glass. Once aligned, use an Unger handle with a blue max to squeegee an area along the top edge of the glass. Always check the top edge alignment and continue to squeegee the window to the side. Avoid forcing the squeegee into areas it will not fit. This will lock down your top edge to allow you to roll up the window to complete the bottom. Using a hard card of your choice, press the edges that cannot be reached by your blue max. Use a squeegee wrapped in a lint-free towel to absorb any excess water along the edge. Once complete, wipe away any excess water from the door panels and frames. Clean the exterior of the glass. For tighter gaskets, you can use a hard card of your choice without a towel to finish the edges. Always make sure you have a fresh edge on your hard card to avoid scratching the film. Start away from the corner, working your way through the corner and along the edge. Clean the exterior of the glass. Spray the glass and position the film along the bottom of the gasket and tack the center of the film. Carefully poke the film in the corner to create a relief cut so that the film can easily slip into the corner without creasing. You will want to do this to all the corners. Exposing just the tip of the blade, cut along the edge, resting the knife on the frame. A lot of pressure is not needed here, as you are not actually cutting with the tip of the blade. Also, be extremely careful in these areas. The softer the gasket, the easier it becomes to accidentally cut it. Make sure you always have a fresh blade to lessen the chance of cutting the glass. Move to a transfer board to finish the edges. Mark along the edges to the corner with a marking pencil. Then move it to a transfer board for cutting. Lightly wet the surface of the glass and tack the film in place on the transfer board. The installer uses a straight edge to trim away the excess film on 2 of the 3 sides, and freehand cuts the slightly curved side of the quarter glass film. A freehand cut like this one will take some practice in order to perfect the technique. For the less experienced installer, a curved ruler could be used to guide the knife blade. Make certain you have a fresh blade. Expose the blade slightly and position it at the top corner. Carefully cut a very small edge of the gasket. This will allow for easier installation and prevent daylight from showing through. Be sure to trim all the gasket material around the quarter glass frame. With the liner removed, apply the top of the quarter glass first, pushing upward. Slightly push on the film and gaskets to position the film flat against the glass. With a small squeegee, begin to squeegee the film to the glass with multiple passes, applying more pressure with each pass. Use a card like an Easy Reach to press the film in hard-to-reach areas. You can also complete the squeegee process with an Easy Reach. Always dry the edges with a hard card wrapped in a lint-free towel. For tighter gaskets, you can use a hard card of your choice without a towel to finish the edges. Always make sure you have a fresh edge on your hard card to avoid scratching the film. Start away from the corner, working your way through the corner and along the edge. Use a heat gun to warm the glass. This will accelerate the tack of the film along the edges. Use your opposite hand to check the glass for heat. When the glass reaches a warm temperature, use a hard card and towel and start from above the finger with a fair amount of pressure and push the finger down towards the edge. Some larger fingers may split into 2 or more smaller fingers. Continue to warm the glass and work on one finger at a time. If too light of an amount of pressure is used, the film can crease as you work on each finger. Be careful not to overheat the glass and/or burn the gaskets. Before applying film to the window, the glass should be cleaned. Simply spray the glass and squeegee with an Unger handle squeegee. Make several overlapping passes and wipe all the edges dry. When measuring the glass to cut film, always measure your widest point and remember to leave a little extra for curvature. With your pre-cut film in hand, wet the entire window and place the film on the glass with the liner facing you. Position the film so that it is straight and the overhang is even on all sides. Once in position, use a hard card to lock the film in place to prevent movement during shrinking. To do this, simply run a hard card across the center of the film and then lock the side from top to bottom. The film does not shrink on the side, so locking the sides down prevents heat from damaging the film. This is known as an H pattern layout. Carefully cut away any areas having large obstacles under the film. To prevent from cutting the glass, place a small piece of plastic between the glass and the film. The blade will cut through the film without contacting the glass, which will prevent any damage. Always cut a few inches larger than the window border in case of edge burn during shrinking. Wet shrinking focuses on a certain area of the film at a time. Fingers are generally larger on rear glass depending on the curve. The idea is to start at the top of the finger, working your way down. You will have to maneuver the finger and sometimes separate them to create multiple small ones, making them easier to shrink. Use a hard card to begin smoothing the film on the glass, being careful not to press before it is molded to the glass. Your heat gun should be held 4 to 5 inches away from the film, and the heat should be adjusted accordingly by watching the film's movement. This is vital to the film's molding capabilities. Too much heat without proper movement can burn the film. You must find a good combination that works at your pace. Continue this to the edge of the film. Some areas will require more attention than others. These areas will take more time and should not be forced too quickly to prevent burning the film. Watch as the film's movement dictates the installer's actions. As the film starts to shrink, the installer immediately maneuvers the film, separating the fingers and pressing molded areas. The top and bottom corners of the windows can be the most challenging. These areas require more patience and time. After the glass is squeegeed clean, lightly mist the window. Using a fabric softener sheet, wipe the window entirely. This will leave a milky residue on the glass. Once it is dried, you can apply the film to the glass. Please note, the more water you use, the longer it will take to dry. This will prevent film from sticking during the shrink process. The idea is to shrink a larger area at one time. Once the area is dry to a haze, apply the film to the glass with the liner facing you. Position the film so that it is straight and the overhang is even on all sides. Once in position, use a wet towel to wipe the area for an H pattern. Use a hard card to lock the film in place to prevent movement during shrinking. To do this, simply run a hard card across the center of the film and then lock your sides from top to bottom. Always keep in mind that the film does not shrink on the sides, so locking the sides down prevents heat from damaging the film. With the dry shrink method, the area you are working with is larger and the film takes the heat on directly. Constant movement and a slight angle of the heat gun is necessary. Keep an eye on the movement of the film. The film is floating on the glass, so you can use the heat gun to maneuver the film as needed. Adjust the height to slow down the heat transfer. Because of the close contact with the heat, you can use a glove on your opposite hand to smooth the film as you go. The film will smooth quicker with less heat, lessening the chance of burning. With your pre-cut film in hand, wet the entire window and place the film on the glass with the liner facing you. Position the film so that it is straight and the overhang is even on all sides. Once in position, use a hard card to lock the film in place to prevent movement during shrinking. To do this, simply run a hard card across the center of the film and then lock the side from top to bottom. The film does not shrink on the side, so locking the sides down prevents heat from damaging the film. This is known as an H pattern layout. Cut some relief on the lower trunk lid area. This allows you to lift and pull the film without affecting other areas. The idea here is to lift the film, slightly pulling at the same time while applying heat, with the film maintaining a position slightly above the glass. Your heat gun should be approximately 4 to 5 inches away, always paying close attention to film's movement. As the film shrinks in an area, lower the film to the glass and smooth it out with your hand or a hard card. Unlike wet shrinking, where you focus on a finger at a time, you will want to shrink across an area, working your way up or down from the center of the glass. You will notice this when you develop a smiley face shape on the surface of the film. At this point, you may want to move left or right, rather than continue downward. Always check progress by smoothing out the film with a hard card or your hand. To prevent from cutting the glass, place a small piece of plastic between the glass and the film. Here, the installer is using a shirt button. A buttonhole holds the blade in place and prevents slipping. This will allow cutting of the film without damaging the glass. Trimming 1/8 inch larger is a good rule of thumb when trimming the film. This distance may vary depending on how much room is available on the interior of the window. Use a portable light to help see through the film when making your final cut on rear glass. Avoid using any scrapers on the rear glass with defrosters, as you can damage the defroster lines. Using a white scrubby pad, scrub vigorously around the borders and entire glass, paying extra attention to dot matrix areas. For hard-to-reach areas, use a long handle scrubber. The better these areas are scrubbed, the more initial tack you will have when installing. Using a squeegee wrapped in a lint-free towel. Wipe all the edges, including the panel areas that film may touch during the installation. Using an Unger handle, squeegee the window starting at the top and use overlapping strokes all the way down. As you reach the bottom, the Unger squeegee can be adjusted to reach closer to the bottom of the glass. There are several squeegee types that can be used for the lower section when the Unger handle squeegee cannot reach. Along with good heat shrinking, proper preparation of the glass will save time by eliminating the need for heat setting edges. Reverse rolling prevents kinks and creases in the film from handling and is less prone to contamination since the adhesive is not exposed until it's directly in front of the glass to be installed. With the film squeegeed onto the glass, remove half the liner and spray the film underneath. Replace the liner over the film. Do the same thing on the opposite side. Now with the liner in place, begin to roll the film in a 1-inch size tube. When you have completed rolling the film, you should end with about 1 inch of excess liner. To begin the reverse roll, wrap the excess liner against the hard coat, exposing about 6 inches of the adhesive. Spray the exposed adhesive with mounting solution. As you unroll the film onto the glass, the liner will transfer to the back of the film. To prepare for installation, begin by thoroughly spraying the interior glass. Apply the exposed adhesive to the glass. Position it within a few inches of the bottom and lined up with the side. Start to unroll the film while also applying the film to the glass. Keep the film away from laying flat against the headliner area. As the film is unrolled across the glass, begin to position the film towards the bottom, followed by laying up the top. At this point, the liner will be on the back side of the film and can now be removed. Finish positioning the film to cover any daylight. If any large air pockets are present, smooth them out with the back of your hand. You can carry film over to the car from the transfer glass by carefully draping the film over both of your arms and crawling into the car while preventing the film from touching any area of the car on your way in. Once you position yourself in the rear seat, raise your arms over the seat and headrest and position the film to the lower part of the glass. Once positioned, raise your hands along the film to apply to the glass all the way up. Using the back side of your hand, carefully move any large air pockets to the edge before squeegeeing. Using a Blue Max with an Unger handle, begin to squeegee from the center out to the edges. Focus on pushing towards the corner as you switch from squeegeeing sideways to squeegeeing up and down. Always use a pushing motion and never pull the squeegee in order to remove the maximum amount of water. Finish the edges with extra pressure to prevent water from traveling back down under the film. Using a side swiper, squeegee the lower parts of the window. Wetting the film surface will allow the squeegee to slide easier. Finish the edges with a hard card wrapped in a lint-free towel. Multiple cards can be used to reach different areas. Take advantage of a wide tool selection to find out what works best for you. Some edges will require touching up. When you encounter a finger or lifted edge, wrap a hard card in a towel and from just above the finger, press firmly against the edge. Apply heat if necessary to warm the glass and initiate extra tack. Press out around the finger's location. This will ensure you did not move the tension elsewhere. While the hard card and towel will close out most edges, occasionally you will need to heat set a particular spot with just a hard card. Apply heat to the warm glass. Press slightly with a hard card directly on the spot needing work. Do not overheat or apply extreme pressure, as both can damage the adhesive and cannot be undone. Always wrap a hard card and avoid any towel overlap. You want to have a smooth edge when wrapped. Congratulations for completing the Solar Gard's auto window film training. If you'd like to gain additional hands-on experience, register to attend the Solar Gard Window Film Academy. For more information, visit www.solargard.com